I caught my wife cheating and then she had the nerve to say she deserved the house in the divorce. She actually looked me in the eye and said, "You owe me," like I was the villain in all this. I didn't even have words. I just quietly handed her lawyer a copy of the prenup, the one her parents had secretly pressured me into signing. Her demands vanished like smoke. Now here I am, Lucas, 32, still trying to wrap my head around the mess I'm in. 5 years of marriage, all down the drain. Her name's Sierra, she's 30. We met back in college. She had this magnetic energy about her. Came from a family with money, real money. Doctors, lawyers, everything about them screamed stability and success. Me? I came from the opposite end of the tracks. I got by on scholarships, hustling multiple jobs, living off instant noodles. Her parents, Marianne and Ellen, always treated me like I was on borrowed time, polite, but always watching for the first slip-up. A few days before the wedding, they pulled me aside. Wanted to talk prenup. They didn't pretend it was for us, it was all about keeping Sierra's future inheritance and family gifts safe from me. They were courteous but made their intentions crystal clear. They even hired a lawyer for me, some guy who barely looked at the document before calling it standard. I remember sitting there, feeling like I was being quietly judged before the marriage even started. Still, I loved Sierra and I wanted to marry her. So I signed the damn thing, thinking it'd just collect dust in a drawer somewhere. Looking back, yeah, I should have seen that red flag waving. But maybe not, considering how things eventually played out. I pushed forward with life. Worked like hell in tech sales and finally started making real money. 2 years ago, we bought a house. Her parents made a show of gifting Sierra a chunk for the down payment, and of course, it was all officially documented as her separate property. I was the one who paid the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, hell, I even covered the renovation costs from my income. I really thought we were building something together. Then last Tuesday blew that whole illusion to pieces. I got home early from a business trip, walked into her bedroom, and there she was with Colin. Some guy from her book club, of all people. There wasn't any screaming. Just this cold, numbing silence in my head. It felt like the world shifted sideways. Colin grabbed his clothes and bolted like his life depended on it. Sierra sat on the bed, clutching the sheets, tears already streaming. She stammered, "Lucas, wait. It's not what it looks like." But when I finally spoke, my voice came out flat. "Dead. Really? Because it sure as hell looks like you're naked in our bed with another man." I told her to get dressed, we needed to talk. And that conversation? Brutal. There were a lot of tears, mostly hers. She made these weak, half-hearted apologies. Kept saying it was a mistake, that she didn't know what she was thinking. But there was no real accountability. I told her, calmly but firmly, that it was over. Done. The trust was shattered beyond repair. She stayed at her parents' house for a couple days after that. Then yesterday, while I was trying to work from home, she showed up again. I couldn't focus at all. She sat at the kitchen island, pale but with that familiar defiance in her eyes. She looked at me and asked, "So what happens now, Lucas? With everything?" I kept it simple. "We get divorced, Sierra." She took a shaky breath. Okay. But I need stability. I can't just be thrown out. This house. I need it." I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. "You need the house? After what you did in it?" She snapped, anger suddenly replacing the guilt. "Don't you dare act like this is all on me. Maybe if you hadn't been working all the time. I made this house a home. I supported you when you were barely making it. My parents helped buy this place." I just shook my head. "Supported me? I paid every damn bill, Sierra. Your parents gave you money that you kept separate." Her voice got louder. The fake vulnerability finally cracked and the entitlement poured out. "And what about alimony?" she shouted. "I've gotten used to a certain lifestyle. I gave up my own dreams for this marriage. You think I can survive on what I make at the gallery? You owe me, Lucas." It was like someone flipped a switch. Whatever remorse she'd shown before, gone. Now it was all just raw entitlement, probably coached by her parents. Marian called that night. Not to apologize, more like damage control. "Lucas, this is so unfortunate," she said. "Sierra is devastated." Then she added, "But we need to be practical. She needs support during this transition. We trust you'll do what's right." An hour later, Alan emailed me. His message wasn't subtle, basically hinted that my career had benefited from their connections and I shouldn't forget that. The meaning was clear. Make this easy. Pay her off. I felt like I'd been punched. Cheated on, then hit with a list of demands like I owed them something. It made me sick. I've had to physically stop myself from yelling. The anger is that intense. I haven't brought up the prenup yet. Not yet. I need to stay level-headed. Got a meeting with lawyers next week. Gotta approach this smart, not loud. Anyone else ever gone through this kind of emotional whiplash? One day she's crying, the next she's demanding alimony like I'm some ATM. It's like I woke up married to a stranger. Update, 10 days later. Alright, deep breath. It's been a hell of a week and a half. I hired a divorce attorney named Rachel, no-nonsense type, not one to put up with drama. Exactly what I needed. I told her everything and handed her the prenup. She gave it a once-over, raised her eyebrows, and said, well, isn't this something? Then she asked, so Sierra's parents were the ones who pushed for this? The irony wasn't lost on either of us. Rachel looked it over and said it seemed airtight. There were clear clauses about separate property and no alimony. Rachel warned me they might try to fight the prenup. Lawyers always find a way to stir the pot, maybe claim I pressured Sierra into signing it or argue it's unfair. But she said it's a stretch, especially since Sierra's own parents were the ones who pushed for it and even got her legal representation at the time. Her advice? Don't bring it up just yet. Keep everything documented. In the meantime, Sierra's still in the house, making the place unbearable. She's pulling the passive-aggressive card, dramatic sighs, sad music blaring, by accident. She says she's house hunting, but apparently it takes forever. Meanwhile, I'm living like a hostage in my own home. Then her friend Jade decides to chime in. Sends me this long-winded, guilt-tripping message about how heartbroken Sierra is. Said I was being cruel for expecting her to eventually move out. Yeah, the same woman who cheated on me. And the pressure from her parents? It's cranked up to full blast. If Marianne and Alan were ever actually shocked by what their daughter did, that phase is over. Now they're fully locked into protect Sierra's lifestyle mode. I get daily calls now. Lucas, you need to support her. Don't let resentment cloud your judgment. Think of the standard of living she's used to. Takes everything I have not to scream into the phone. Then came the stunt. I got home last Thursday and my key wouldn't work. Heart dropped. I looked over and saw a locksmith van driving away. I ran to the back door and spotted Sierra through the window, standing there with this smug little smile. I stopped the locksmith as he was getting in his van. Did you just change the locks on this house? He looked uneasy. Yeah, the lady said. I cut him off. Did she show you any ownership papers, or did she just say she lived here? She lives here, he said. Showed me her mail. I kept my voice level, but my fists were clenched. I live here too. My name's on the deed and the mortgage. What she did is illegal. Then Sierra appeared at the door. Lucas, stop bothering him. I told you I don't feel safe. I turned to the locksmith. If this is an eviction attempt, you need a court order or proof of sole ownership. Show him the deed, Sierra. Oh wait, you can't. Because I'm listed first. I pulled out my ID and a digital copy of the deed. The locksmith turned pale as it hit him. He was knee-deep in legal trouble if he followed through. He apologized a dozen times, swapped the locks back immediately, and left like the place was haunted. Sierra, meanwhile, was livid. She screamed about how I embarrassed her. I didn't waste time. I called the non-emergency police line and reported it. Got an incident number to document the attempted illegal lockout. An officer came out, took the report, barely interested. Just routine stuff for them. He told Sierra flat out she couldn't legally lock me out. Civil matter. But the paper trail? That's what matters. The sheer audacity of it all blows my mind. Like we're in some twisted world where cheating makes you the victim. I'm not numb anymore. That's gone. Now it's just controlled anger and determination. Rachel's keeping records of everything. The calls. The texts. The lockout stunt. All of it. We've got a meeting next week. Me, Sierra, both are lawyers. Can't wait to see their faces when Rachel pulls out the prenup, the one her own parents forced on me. Countdown's ticking. Final update. It's done. Finally. And yeah, I'm pouring myself a double because I damn well earned it. The air in the house? It actually feels clean again. The meeting went down last week at Rachel's office. I showed up with her. Sierra walked in with her lawyer, some polished older guy named Mr. Whitaker. And of course, Marianne and Alan showed up too for support. Translation. Pressure and intimidation to squeeze out the biggest payout possible. Mr. Whitaker kicked things off. Laid out their demands like it was a business pitch. They wanted the house sold and the equity split 50-50ths. Sierra would get her parents' gift returned off the top. Then $5,000 a month in alimony for 5 years. Half my retirement savings from the past 5 years. And the newer car. He tried to sound calm and logical. Talked about Sierra's contributions. The lifestyle she'd grown used to. All the usual buzzwords. He did mention the prenup vaguely. Hinted they might try to challenge parts of it, especially the alimony clause because of the circumstances. Sierra looked nervous but like she was bracing for a fight. Her parents sat there nodding along, smug. Rachel didn't interrupt. She let him go on. Then she handed out printed copies of the prenup to everyone in the room. She smiled politely and said, "Mr. Whitaker, we understand your client's position, but this prenuptial agreement, drafted at the insistence of Mr. and Mrs., her last name, lays things out very clearly." Then she added, "Perhaps you can point to where it says infidelity voids the alimony waiver, or where it turns separate property contributions into joint equity." Whitaker skimmed the pages, and his face tightened. Sierra turned pale. Marian shifted uncomfortably in her seat. He tried to push back. "Well, if we look at Clause 7C on alimony, we might have grounds to argue." Rachel cut in, calm as ever. "You might. But considering both parties had independent counsel, all finances were disclosed, and the people challenging it are the ones who demanded it, I don't see a judge calling this unconscionable or coerced. Do you?" Then she pointed to the clauses showing exactly how contributions like my mortgage payments and their gift were to be handled if the marriage ended. You could actually see Mr. Whitaker deflate. He knew the game was up. That's when Sierra finally lost it. She looked straight at me, her voice low, trembling with fury. "You planned this," she said. "You let me sign that prenup knowing it would end like this." I met her stare, tired but steady. "No, Sierra, I didn't plan anything. Your parents did this to protect you. You're the one who cheated. You're the one who started making demands you had no right to, even without the prenup, let alone with it. This wasn't some scheme. This is just what happens when you break the rules your family wrote." Marian jumped in, stammering, "This isn't fair. We need to fight this." Alan didn't say a word, just sat there, glaring. Mr. Whitaker looked like he wanted to disappear under the table. Pretty sure he was kicking himself for walking into this blind, courtesy of his client's very own family. He muttered something about needing to speak privately with Sierra. Just like that, the outrageous demands disappeared. Mr. Whitaker called Rachel the next morning. Everything on their list was off the table. They knew they had nothing left to stand on. A few days later, Sierra moved out. No more defiance, no more bargaining. She was done. I heard she's back living in her old bedroom at her parents' house. Can't even imagine how awkward that is. Changed the locks, this time with a proper locksmith who actually checked ID and verified the deed. Peace of mind? Worth every penny. As for the house, Rachel walked Mr. Whitaker through the financials again, line by line. Every mortgage payment, every tax bill, every dollar that went into renovations came from my income. That made it separate property under the prenup. Her parents' gift stayed classified as just that, her personal contribution. Technically, it's treated like a lien against her portion of interest. But the bulk of the equity, that came from me, and the prenup spelled it out clearly. It belonged to me. Whitaker couldn't argue. So I'm keeping the house. And the irony? Her parents, in trying to protect their daughter's future, basically helped me secure mine. Socially, let's just say word got out. Cheating was bad enough. But following that up with a parade of entitled demands, and then getting legally slammed by the very prenup her family insisted on? Yeah, brutal. People started backing away. Even Jade, who texted me that guilt trip before, apparently sent Sierra a message saying, "Told you this would blow up." Haven't heard from her since. Colin disappeared. No one's seen or heard from him since the fallout. Not that I care. On the parental front, rumor has it Marianne and Alan are humiliated, not just by Sierra's choices, but by how badly their whole strategy blew up in public. Now they look overbearing and clueless. Word is, things are pretty chilly between them and Sierra. The divorce? Finalized. No contest, all terms per the prenup. No drawn-out drama, no court battles. I sold the leftover junk she didn't take. Sent her a check for her cut of the few items we truly shared. Blocked the whole lot of them. The house is quiet now. And honestly, that silence feels strange sometimes. There's still this ache for the life I thought we were building. But more than anything, there's relief. A deep, exhausted kind of peace. That constant tension, that daily dread, it's finally gone. Starting therapy was one of the best decisions I've made. I'm reconnecting with people who actually care about me. This was never about some dramatic revenge story. It was about facing hard truths. Her choices. Her entitlement. Her parents playing puppet masters. In the end, they created the weapon that ended up turning on them. All I did was follow the script they wrote. And honestly, it feels like justice, quiet, steady, and long overdue. Now it's time to move on, heal, and build something real.